Did Shador just make himself the starter in 2026? I think the arrow is pointing as close as it ever had when we have this conversation to yes. As always, you can listen to this show and all of our local shows, 92.3 The Fan, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Take The Fan with you wherever you go. Listen to us on the Odyssey, iHeart, or TuneIn apps. So what did I say the if was? We were talking right before the break. And I said, like, the if was there. And it was like you asked, can fans see themselves, before I get to these phone calls, 216-474-0092, did Shedeur secure the job for 2026? We also have to talk about somebody else's job coming up at 7 o'clock.
Where the whole organization, when they do their end-of-the-season press conference, let's say Barry's definitely coming back. I don't know about Stefanski, and we'll definitely have that conversation. But where Andrew Barry is sitting up there, remember, no Paul DePodesta now, it's just Andrew Barry, and he gets asked the question, Jeff Shedeur nudges his way in and goes, hey, it's going to be Shedeur. I mean, he had some nice drives in that game. He beat Pittsburgh. And Andrew Barry says, yes, he is our quarterback next year. We are going into the offseason with him as QB1. I do not see that as a possibility. Well, you said you are as close as you've...
Well, there's no way he's ever going to say that. Because you never know how the draft's going to shake out. You always want to be... Yeah, you'll never...
Okay, after the draft.
Sorry.
No, you're right. You were right to point that out. After the draft, when it's clear they don't take a quarterback at number... Today it's 6, but I still think a lot could happen in front of them. Of course, they could beat Cincinnati.
Let me ask you.
If Joe Burrow plays, Joe Burrow was looking good yesterday.
Scale of 1 to 10, how much faith do you believe the fans have in Andrew Barry?
Not much.
See, that's my if. Because it's like, man, you guys know this, and I know everybody. We need this, we need this, we need this. We do, man. We need a lot. We need a lot. That whole offensive line looks like it could be retooled at the end of this year, which I got mad. I was yelling at Pony yesterday because I thought we were not going to win this game. I go, we're not going to win this game, and damn it, I go, this is unserious. I go, I see 77 standing right down there. Zach Zinter wasn't even good enough to play earlier in the year. Oh, excuse me. Good enough to dress earlier in the year. Now he's rotating at guard. Because I still have that issue. Because again, I had to prove her wrong before. Well, I hate to do it.
Teller was rotating until he got injured again.
I had to say it with Mary Kay. I said, God, they don't do this. They don't. If they didn't do it with Josh Allen, they didn't do it with Mahomes. They won't do it. They wouldn't do it with Lamar. And that's part of the problem I've had. I go, I'm supposed to be serious about this and give it a good, honest evaluation when I don't even think you guys are giving it a good, honest evaluation. That was my issue with it. But let me go back to it because I just got mad and we move on here, right? Let me go back to it. Is if you have faith in Andrew, because I got to tell you guys, you can sit there and go, well, we can't take a quarterback because we all need all this. Do you not want a quarterback, or are you just afraid to take another one? Because you know none of these guys will work without a quarterback. So you have to be pro Shedeur if you wanted to do that. The second part of it is the if is that if you think that he's going to mess up quarterback, he has messed up plenty of other positions. So it's if you have faith in Andrew Barry to do it. And I got to admit, I know this last draft was great. You have to look at the sum of all the parts, not just this last draft. And it turns from an expectation to a hope. And then I have to hope that you've added the right pieces around him. That the second round isn't this glaring hole that you've had, whether it's your fault or whether it's not your fault, whether it's just bad luck. And there's partially to that too. This second round is this glaring hole you've had for a long time. Are you going to be able to fix that? Like, there's so many questions that are there, which I'm going, man, we're just guaranteeing Andrew Barry to come back in 2026. Okay, but man, there's no way a lot of Browns fans out there feel a lot of comfort around Andrew Barry. I wouldn't believe it. So the if is an unanswerable question because I can't guarantee what he's going to do here in 4 months. And all I know as of right now is that, yeah, there's some nice rookies in there, but you're also playing catch up with some guys because you weren't able to hit on a lot of picks beforehand.
Yeah, and obviously, look, whether it's Shedeur or anybody else, they're going to have some additions here. In the draft, free agency, even though I know by the number it looks like they don't have, but they could always manipulate some things to bring in some help, which they're going to have to do. Because you can't just have all rookies. I mean, you saw what all rookies leads to a lot of losses.
Yes, it
does. Even if the rookies are good.
Yes, it does.
Even if they plug the holes that you were so desperately in need of filling. It's still a tough way in this league in 2025 to address everything with just rookies. So, and then, you're always going to have injuries. So, yes, obviously, I think you're going to try to add to that offensive line. You're going to add a receiver or two, maybe three to that receiver room. We'll see if Judy might just be back here by default because they might have to. Because
if it's Andrew Berry still here, I think that he'd probably still stay here. I think that's a $16 million cap hit, so it's not that much. But Andrew's not been very quick to admit mistakes if there's been mistakes. So
you do everything you can to support whoever is a quarterback, whether it's Shedeur or anybody else. And I don't even think I think we're done when it comes to certain quarterbacks play a certain way, so you're going to build the whole team around Shedeur. I think now these teams pivot very, very easily, almost midweek. Depending on who the quarterback is. I mean, you've seen that Jordan Love, Malik Willis. Okay, they play two totally different ways, but Green Bay has found a way to make it work with certain guys. So I don't even think that is that much of a consideration. I just don't think he's played so well that you have shut the door on any alternative, that it has to be Shedeur. Because, by the numbers, and I could trot out the numbers, people will roll their eyes again. I do it every week. I mean, it's him and Dylan Gabriel and J.J. McCarthy at the bottom of every single statistical number that the NFL has.
Look on the bright side. At least we didn't give up a first-round pick for either of our guys.
Right.
Got that going for us. Stanley in Slavic Village. You're next up on the Fan. Hello, Stanley.
Hey, I'm driving to work, and I'm listening about how we can maintain this mediocrity. It just kills me that the consideration for Berry, Stefanski, and Sanders is even being considered. Any team, any city and team and GM that wants to go to the top wouldn't consider retaining any of these clowns. This team blows. This team has...
Well, Stanley, how would you make it...
Record.
All right, Stanley.
The Central Division blows.
Stanley! I'm not going to run you off. Hold on.
The Houston Oilers.
So how would you make it better? What would you do? Do you hang up?
You have to have a GM that knows how to build a team. And obviously he hasn't built this team. You didn't invest in wide receiver. You didn't invest in the offensive line. And none of those things that you didn't invest in are conducive to a rookie quarterback or any quarterback coming into a situation where the pillars of your offense are offensive line and wide receiver and then a quarterback. And this GM misses that fact. And it's been years. So, and then they dumped Baker Mayfield when they almost beat Kansas City, and here we are.
Well, by the way, he's certainly returned to earth. I don't know if anybody else saw that game yesterday against the Dolphins. Stanley.
Losing in luxury in Brook Park. That's what it'll be. Losing in luxury in Brook Park.
All right, Stanley.
Have a nice day.
Okay. Well, you didn't give me any plan on how you were going to make things better.
I like that
I can bitch their ear off, too.
He started with that they were in the Central, and then it used three different positions that were more important than the most important position in all sports, the quarterback.
Listen,
you build your team. What year is this that we're you build your team with offensive linemen and receivers, and then you get the quarterback?
Rip Andrew Berry.
Well, thank God for New England fans they didn't listen to that because they wouldn't have Drake May right now.
You can rip Kevin and Andrew all you want. All you want. You got to give me a way you're going to make things better. Because if you were to fire Andrew Berry the next week, somebody's going to come in and inherit the mess. And when Stanley was saying, there's a lot of things I just thought were silly, but what he said about, he hasn't invested in what? No, I think he's making a lot of points there where he's upset with what this team is. And yeah, I think a lot of people still are. But it's okay, has he not invested in wide receiver, or has he made the bad investments in wide receiver? I think they're bad investments in wide receiver. Has he not invested in offensive line? I don't know. I was just bitching your ear off about Zach Zinter 5 minutes ago. And that was a pick I liked. Maybe they're going to be able to pull the nose up on him. I'm not sure. But there's a lot of things that, I would say I don't. But you got to have a plan on how you're going to make it better. You can't just say, we're going to invest in mediocrity just to get it off our chest. 216-474-0092. I mean, if you do, that's fine. But it wasn't like they lost 13-6 yesterday against the Steelers. They won 13-6 yesterday against the Steelers. So it sounds like somebody was upset that they won because it might entertain that some people might keep their jobs, including Kevin.